Hello and thank you for subscribing to Infowars Tech. This is a channel where we explore and review new advances in technology like artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning. Today we are going to talk about introduction to StreamLit. It's an extremely powerful Python library for data visualization and writing applications that allow you to manage and manipulate data with very small amount of code. So let's get started. I have an earlier video in which we created some data visualization, but in this video I want to cover the basics and take you through some of the basic information on StreamLit. So let's get started. As you can see, my environment is on the left hand side. I'm running Virtual Studio Code. I find it to be an extremely good IDE, very manageable. You can update as new versions come up. And on the right hand side, I'm displaying a browser where the output of my my program and any changes I make are reflected instantly on the right hand side. So let's get started. The first thing you should do is, if you don't have StreamLit, you should install it using this command pip install StreamLit, and this can be in the Python directory or in your command line. I'm running a Windows system, so it should work equally well on Linux or an Apple system. And within the Python directory, where I have created this file called introduction to streamlit.py, that's my file. I'm going to run streamlit run space that file name. So let's do that. As you can see, I need to go to 8502 and localhost. So let me change that here and let me run that. And as you can see, I'm displaying something here. Let's see how that got displayed. So as you can see, let's start from here. I start off with importing some required libraries. So I have I'm importing Streamlit as ST. This is the main library, and then pandas and numpy. If you have watched my previous videos, I have separate videos on pandas and NPy. They're unbelievably powerful libraries, and we should be very familiar with them as data analysts or aspiring data analysts. Then I also have CSV, comma separated value. This I'll be using later on to read a file that is formatted in CSV. And PIL, I'm importing image, so PIL is Python image library. So how we get that on the right hand side, that title, it's simply by saying ST. So ST here is abbreviation of StreamLit. So I've already said importing StreamLit as ST, and I'm using it here. So st.title, and I'm just displaying whatever I want to display in these apostrophes, and it gets displayed. So let me make a quick change, and you can see that it is immediately updated. So an awesome Python library for data analysis. Once I do that and I save this file, you can see on the right hand side I get two options. I should select always run, so that it updates on the fly as soon as any changes are made here on my wherever code I'm using. And by the way, you can use Atom or Sublime or any other IDE that you're familiar with. Everything works. So you saw that as soon as I made that change, it immediately updated on the right hand side. Now let's take a look at another. So most of them are very simple. You just attach ST, and you can see whatever you want to display is just part of that command. So st.header, when I run that, it's more like a header, smaller size than the title, but it displays like a header, and similarly for a subheader. So different ways you can experiment and display it on your application. st.text is basically just allows you to write text, nothing very fancy about it. You can see when I wrote that, just display whatever is shown there. st.write is much more versatile and powerful, and it allows or supports multiple objects of multiple formats. So here you can see I'm using st.write with more like some kind of formatting, and actually they call it a Swiss Army knife because it can take different arguments and data types. So let's run that. As you can see, I'm able to write hello world italic and with a nice emoji. And st.write is very powerful. Here in this next example, I can actually use it to create and write data frame. So if you want to do some serious formatting, use st.write. If you're just writing text that's very basic, you can always go with st.text. Let's run that. As you can see, st.write was able to create a whole data frame and display that. So very versatile and can actually display many object types, including data frame, error, graph, viz, plotly, fig, etc., etc. Let me just comment it out so we can look at the next ones. Here, so we have Markdown. Markdown, as it indicates, it allows you to format in various ways, and more emojis are available in this link that I have pasted here, so you can always follow that. It's very, very powerful. So as an example, let's run this. I thought this was interesting. So you can see I can I have a very cute little emoji. Let me do another one. I find these very interesting. So a coffee cup, etc. Let's try another one. Oh, we've already done that. Let's look at st.success. So when this prints, you can see that it's very visually pleasing. So success, along with green, sounds better. Let me just run these all together. So st info, st warning, let's run those. So as you can see, different colors giving that really pleasing output. So if you use that in your program or in your application, it really gives a very nice view. So you can also do advanced text example using st.latex, and as you can see, the format is very, very simple. So st.latex or st.info, and it just follow the format and it will display that. So let me, this displays a very complicated equation in written latex. You can see it's very nicely displayed here. Okay, let's go down and take a look at what's next. So reading and displaying data. So as I mentioned earlier, I had imported a Python library to read CSV file. In here I'm reading using the pandas read_CSV format to read a file which is house_price_index in CSV format. I read that, and data is the variable that contains all of that data frame information. Now that file is pretty large. I believe it's about 7 MB. If I run st.dataframe or st.table, which are more or less very similar, it might take a long time to display. So I won't run it at this moment, but as you can see, there's also an option to use a cache option, which can make that rendering very quick. But however, I can run this command, which is running that whole data frame, but just showing just the top 10 rows of that data. So let's run that and let's see how that displays. So great, as you can see, it just ran and displayed 10 top rows of that data frame, which was like 7 MB in size. So you can see very nicely formatted. So again, just using the st.table or st.dataframe, you're able to really in a single line of code or 2 lines of code, able to quickly display that data. Very, very powerful application. Now it also has the ability to display images and play videos and audio files. So let's see how that's done. Again, very simple. You just use st.image, and the format is the first parameter that you're displaying. It's a PNG or a JPG format. It needs to be in the same location where your application lies, and you can also add a caption, and you can also use column_width to format it accordingly. So let's try and run that. Okay, perfect. So that ran, and you can see that small caption at the bottom. So the important thing is, and what people, and I also honestly I do struggle, is to where should I locate that JPG file. So the best way is just locate it alongside where the application is, and you should have no problems. So that's the best tip I can give you on running this. You can also play an audio file. So let's see how that's done. I have an audio file. I use the open command. The first parameter is the file. It can be in various formats. Here I'm using WAV format. RB, I believe, stands for read bytes, and you're reading that into a variable called audio_file, and then you're using st.audio to actually run that. So let's see how that goes. Okay, there it is. Let me see if that works. And
VMware is software-defined data
perfect.
center,
So
SDDC architecture.
it's an audio file that I must have recorded at some time, and I'm able to, with a single or two commands, I'm able to run that. Amazing. Let's see how you can display a video. So I have this video file. Again, a variable. I'm using the open format to read that file. It supports MP3, MP4. You see that same parameter called read bytes. And again, a very strong tip: ensure the media is in the same directory as your .py file, and you should have no problems. So I'm using video bytes, reading that information to video_bytes, and then I'm using st.video, again very similar to the st.audio, to render that. Let's run that and see how that responds. Okay, perfect. So you can see, let me see if I can run that.
Welcome to the VMware
Yeah,
Certified
it does.
course.
So again, a very small clip, about a minute in duration, and
the course
it runs.
is broken down into modules.
Perfect. It's really good to see how such powerful rendering you can do with very small amount of code. Amazing. Let me just get these out of the way, and it'll be easier. And I hope you don't mind this format that I'm using. It just helps to make this run better. Instead of me writing it out, I already have that written out, and it's easier to just comment out and talk about how you move through this document. Let me just format this, comment this out as well. That's out of the way, and as I save it, you can see that it will be removed or not shown. So the rendering or the reading is immediate, and it since it's commented out, it's no longer shown. Let's take a look at some widgets called for formatting. So st.sidebar, let's run that, and as you can see, this appears on the left hand side. If I click that, it opens up introduction to Python libraries. Let me run the st.sidebar, and let me close that again, and if I open that again, and you can see that I have that sidebar now coming up. Beautiful, amazing. How do you get help in StreamLit? Very simple. Use the st.help command, and using the st.help command, you can, as an example, if I run this, it'll gives me information or help on pd.dataframe. I can change that to, let's see if I'm looking at something else, and if as I'm using this IDE, it can prompt me. So let's see if I want to know, let's say, about float, so that will come up, the help will come up. I noticed that most of the help is about objects of type, a certain type class that are available. Let's see, so range and so on. So you get the idea. It's st.help and whatever you're searching for. And how I find it useful is if I'm looking for something, I can try, the first letter, and it will automatically prompt me. Not sure if this is available in all the IDs, but it certainly is in VS Code, and this is open source and freely available. Great tool. So before we end, let's take a quick look at the date and time functions. So for date and time, let's see, I can use the st.date for today and time when it was recorded, so that's printed out. And I want to just say st.write, this video was recorded on such and such date and time. Let's see how that is shown. So this video was recorded on 23rd of December and time was 22:34 minutes. Great, right? So extremely easy to use, very simple to learn the syntax and get going, and it's just an amazing library that one should be familiar with. Let's try the last one before we close, and this one is st.text_area, and it gives you an area box and you can write out comments. So great. Like I said, this is a very short introductory module just to get you started, interested in StreamLit. I will be uploading new videos on some advanced functions like data visualization and creating functions and so on in StreamLit. So stay tuned. Do subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to comments and input from your side. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, and hope you all had a good time and had a good time learning this library, and I hope you can benefit from it. Like I said, I will be following up, and eventually I will show you how to write applications in StreamLit. Thank you. Bye bye.